To prepare before a match, I basically just try to practice as much as I can. Either the practice range and just shoot at bots or make a custom game.
I don't think you need to put in like a crazy amount of hours. I just think it's good if you can have a little warm-up, you know, just get your aim going.
You know, I'll do my normal thing, practice my flicking, get my muscle memory up. We'll just hop on in there and do our best.
Welcome back to our Domino's countdown to game time. Our first game today is between Dignitas and FaZe. This is a rematch from earlier on in the week, and this game is going to be incredible. Both teams, we saw when they first faced off, brought out some unexpected results. Huge plays from their Zarya players, Zoms on FaZe, Toxicant on Dig. Both the DPS on each team have gone absolutely insane. So a lot to keep in mind as we watch these teams play. Let's start off by talking a little bit about Dig. Can you recap for me what went on there, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, this is a story mostly of Linkster. I feel like he's always going to be the star of the team for the foreseeable future. He had a great game, but as you highlighted, they have a few good players. Bromas, of course, on the DPS, Artier being someone that switched a few positions, but we'll talk about that later. And of course, Toxicant on that Zarya doing a great job. Overall, I feel like, of course, they're doing better than what was expected, but they're a very scrappy team. Even here you can see Linkster on that May and Bromas on the McCree, handling his own, doing well. I feel like they're a team that is going to be determined by maps. I feel like both these teams have certain play styles that fit around certain maps, and depending what they get will determine this result heavily.
Yeah, this is a squad, right, that a couple of their players can fill numerous roles, right? You kind of dived into it briefly there. Artier is a support player for Dignitas, but he actually came into this as a DPS player and then decided, for the benefit of the team, he's going to switch over. So I think that this is a squad that is continuing to find their identity, continuing to find the thing that makes them great, and this matchup should be that defining moment for them.
And you could see that flexibility within just their main star player, I would say, Linkster. He's got a lot of options here. We didn't see too much Widowmaker this tournament. I know Matt, Mr. X over there is excited for some Widowmakers being nano boosted. I know he's really pumped for that.
Yeah, you think that's going to happen, Mr. X?
He's not very smart.
He's nodding, but I think ZP is just shaking over there. Please don't bring that up. Overall, though, they have a lot of depth. They have a lot of people that are very talented, so depends, I think both of these teams are a little scrappy, so it's going to be who has the bigger dog in them, who's going to really go get it.
Yeah, but the other thing, too, I kind of want to cover here is Numlocked as well, right?
Yes.
The tank for Dignitas. He had an incredible series. So, for me, Dignitas, they have a lot of weapons at their disposal. They certainly run a much more traditional, in comparison to what we saw here, composition, and they're going to do their absolute best to just put FaZe in a very uncomfortable position. I would imagine that that's their goal here.
Absolutely, but as we take a look at FaZe now, we do have to consider that FaZe has brought a lot of stuff from the back pocket, stuff we weren't quite expecting. Earlier on Eichenwald, they brought out a Pharah Mercy pairing, a personal favorite of mine, but they've done some creative stuff throughout this tournament. Goldenboy, what are you thinking about them?
FaZe, man, this organization, I can never seem to get away from them, which is hilarious, but, this squad right here, just so much talent between the combination of Too Easy and Shadowburn. You basically have aggressive DPS players get in your face and do not let up. Shadowburn basically on you like white on rice with his Genji. And then you also have Too Easy, who is just exquisite on the flank, does some great work there as well. And even in these, particularly the control maps, that's where FaZe is going to be very, very dangerous. And if you're Dignitas, you're going to try to avoid. But just across the board, the story for this team, for FaZe, has been aggression. They are an aggressive team, and I love it.
Yeah, and I think that comes down to just how volatile they are. They're a team that if they get that momentum, they're going to do a good job, but they're definitely not as composed as, what I would consider something like Fnatic. They're a team that has a big strategy. They're not too easily rustled. They can come into it and they can pull back. I feel like FaZe is going to be very hit or miss, but as you can see, one of those players you were just talking about, Too Easy, look at that character depth. I mean, not only is he playing all these DPS characters, but he can flex into that Roadhog role too. Obviously, I completely agree. This matchup is going to be heavily determined by maps, and they're going to want King of the Hill. They're going to want those control point maps.
One trend, though, you'll notice across the board with Too Easy, Tracer. Right? His Tracer is an incredible play. Like, it's honestly, like when I watch it, it's like you just want to put the spectator camera on him the entire time because he's just going to keep making plays, and he knows how to read really well with his fellow Zarya Zoms to just coordinate on those big bangs. Look for that to really play a role, but just to echo what you said, though, maps are going to be the biggest thing here. I'm really curious to see what FaZe goes for.
Well, as you keep your eyes on 2Easy in this next matchup, know that he's going to be trying to face down against Bromas on Dignitas. Malik had a chance to catch up with Bromas a little bit earlier today. Let's hear what he had to say.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Bromas, yesterday everybody counted you guys out. The analysts desk all predicted you guys to not even take a map, but you guys proved everybody wrong. Do you feel like you really got the respect you deserved after you guys defeated FaZe yesterday?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we won against FaZe 2-1. Then FaZe won against REUNITED. They were pretty much the favorites to go through the group stage. So I guess we got a lot of respect for our gameplay yesterday. So I think if we get to win today, people will count on us for the rest of the tournament. I don't know how it's going to go, but yeah.
So if there's anything that I know about FaZe is that Shadowburn is a very talented player, and you guys have to see, like, he does this thing, especially in King of the Hill maps. So what do you guys do to prepare against a team like FaZe? With a player like Shadowburn, do you kind of organize a strategy around him? Or, I mean, of course you're going to play against the team, but you got to be thinking in the back of your mind, like, yo, this guy's really dope.
He's probably the best game in the world. He's carrying FaZe super hard. He carried FaZe super hard yesterday. He basically won alone against us in King of the Hill. And yeah, we pretty much have to play around the Genji, try to counter him, try to force him out of the character in order to win.
Good one, good one. All right, so if there's anything that I know about sports, about any type of competition out there, it's that it's hard to beat people twice in a row. So what do you guys do to mentally prepare to do that against FaZe today?
Well, if you won once, you know you can win again, right? So you basically just try to do the same things you just did yesterday, play at the same level, and if you play like that, if you do the same shit, you're going to win again.
All right, if the battle can be fought, then it can be won. Well, thank you very much, Bromas, and we're going to send it back to the desk. Take it away, guys.
Thank you, Malik. Excellent insights there. I love how much information he gets out of these players. So much personality that is really kind of shining through with this first in-person event for a lot of these teams.
And they're all great players, too. Everybody here has been very nice. I don't think there's been too much trouble, too much drama. They're all very chill, all friends, so that's nice to see.
All right, let's check out the maps these teams are going to be playing on. As you guys said, this is a huge factor, and right off the bat, we see Eichenwald, which I know is an exciting choice for FaZe. Route 66 is an option, and Hollywood.
Most importantly here, we see no CP maps. I mean, that is a big factor. I was expecting, if FaZe got at least 2 of those, I would favor them. Now looking at these maps, I feel like at least Dignitas did outdraft them.
Yeah, you look at Eichenwald and that one, in my opinion, can go either way, despite FaZe having a strong showing in that one. I do believe that not having any control maps here it's pretty surprising. FaZe clearly are dominant in control. We saw that yesterday, and I have to go with Dignitas here.
You're a little worried now for your FaZe boys,
I am a little concerned, to be honest.
You're gonna go with Dignitas? I think I'm gonna go with FaZe primarily because I just feel like they get the ball rolling. They're gonna do a better job. Also, in NA groups, we saw both teams, NRG and C9 pull it back in the second day. So I think FaZe are going to go in this. Change jerseys. They're actually in black today. They're saying this is a fresh start. FaZe all the way.
All right. Well, thank you guys for your predictions. Now it's time to head into the match. So I'm going to hand it over to our new combo. We've got ZP and Mr. X in the skybox.
Thank you, Rachel. No, I really love the addition of Goldenboy on the desk. Makes Huck seem a little bit taller. No, I get it. I'm a small guy as well. And we get ZP up here on the cast. The FaZe versus Dignitas going into things first. I'm looking to see, Huck was joking about it. I think FaZe, they need to run a Widowmaker, obviously. It's the joke with them, right? Snipers everywhere. You will not see that, just to be serious here in this one. But Dig, on the defense, so what do you think their setup's going to be?
The setup going to be here for Dignitas, they are going to go out of their way to use the May. I think part of the reason why they wanted to be on Eichenwald here was to abuse the fact that Linkser is one of the best Mays in the game. We saw him have great plays yesterday, and there's so many good spots on this map to really go after a team. So looking at the defense now they're setting up, they're going to be sitting back behind Numlocked. Linkser is going to be controlling the battlefield with ice walls, and Toxicant is going to be looking to grab anyone with hooks that might be a little bit out of position.
Yeah, and I know we saw Linkser on King's Row yesterday do a fantastic job on May, right? And I think it's definitely definitely a hero that can shut down Shadowburn if he goes over to the Genji. He's been so good with Genji throughout the tournament, but it looks like he's going to be starting things off on Pharah. You have Raucus on Mercy, so that Pharah Mercy combo. We see that a lot at X-Well at the beginning, you know, trying to get on that flank early.
Yeah, and this is going to really come down to Bromas. You look at the defense, Bromas, he's going to be on shutdown duty. It's going to be up to him to take Shadowburn out of the sky. If FaZe can get on Bromas early, things are going to go really well because then you're not going to be able to contain Shadowburn.
And Shadowburn going to go up top, going to put down a lot of nice shots there with Pharah. Now, this first checkpoint, so hard to get past ZP. You know, the defense can just set up. You need to get in there fast or you need to go on the flank. It's going to be Shadowburn taking to the skies, putting down a lot of nice shots, forcing the defense back, just trying to separate the defenders, really cause a lot of chaos.
And they are not wasting any time. However, it's Toxic, quick hook coming out from him. 3 kills here from the defense. Shadowburn trying to turn this back around. Will take out Lynx, are one of the better players to pick. And remember, the offense, they're going to be coming right back in soon. They reinforce sooner, and Shadowburn, he's going to back off, get the help, and it's going to be FaZe running right back in again. Dignitas a little bit unsettled on the defense.
Yeah, and FaZe has 2 players left in there. Zombs, you see him on your screen with his Zarya. It's going to be the nano boost coming in, though, on a numlocked for Dignitas. He's going to be able to pick up 1. He's going to fly past, and you see FaZe falling back. Don't want to just run into that nano-boosted Reinhardt. So effective. Those are the 2 heroes we've been seeing getting nano-boosted the most, the Reinhardts and the Reapers. We don't have any Reapers in this one, so expect that Reinhardt's going to be nanoed for the side of Dignitas.
It's sped up Numlocked enough that he's actually able to take out Pharah with this hammer. It doesn't happen all that often. Going to have Earthshatter up in a moment, and this could be a big Earthshatter. Just needs to land 1 hammer swing to set it up, but he's going to find himself in a Graviton. The sound bear's out, and there it is! The combo coming out for Shadowburn takes down 2. 3 kills here from FaZe, and FaZe 4 kills here. They will be taking this first point.
Yeah, the May Blizzard going to come down at the final moments from Lynxer, but does not look like it'll do much of anything. You see everyone from FaZe on the point. They're going to get control of the payload. Now we go into that second FaZe EP. It's so interesting to see when teams switch up their comps, right? This map's so versatile. I know a lot of verticality, and it's going to need to change up some of those comps potentially.
Well, speaking of change-ups here, we used to see Lynxer on May a little bit longer here in this map, but he is in fact going to the Roadhog. And Broma's still going to be on the McCree, so I think there's changing things a little bit, the deal with how FaZe is working on things. FaZe are going to keep Raucus on the Mercy for now as Shadowburn switches off. Why? Yeah. Why are they doing that? It's because they don't want to waste that resurrection.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Raucus not going to give up that res for absolutely no reason. And you see it's going to be Factor Fiction jumping up top, trying to engage, going to get that Zarya bubble, so going to charge the FaZe Zarya in the process. And you see FaZe has a lot of ultimates to work with. The Primal Rage is going to come in for Factor Fiction. He's going to be put to sleep, though. Bromas just trying to deal with Too Easy, but he gets taken out. Too Easy's Tracer has been on point. And there you see the res coming in from Raucus. That's why you stick on Mercy. The sound barrier comes in as well. FaZe with a lot of sustainability in this fight, but there comes Nunlock. He's going to be nano boosted on that Reinhardt, and it's going to be for naught. They're going to get nothing out of it. Dignitas. Now FaZe looks to try and take control of this fight.
That was a classic combo. Too Easy in the back, able to take out both Toxic and Dracaeus, still darting about. This is where Tracer excels. It's a triple kill here for Too Easy as he's doing all sorts of work. Zom sitting here in the back working on Numlocked in. Really, that's what happens when a fight breaks down. The Tracer's able to get to the backline. She's able to just rip things apart. And Too Easy, remember, going into yesterday, he said he was really, really tired, only had 1 hour sleep. He's coming out much stronger here today.
Oh, well, and I mean, you also see the power of Mercy, right? I mean, when she's able to get that res, you see the Graviton Surge come down, trying to block Dignitas inside that close alleyway, and it's going to be Bromas trying to deal with Shadowburn and Too Easy, but the aggression from the Reaper and Tracer too strong. Shadowburn gets right in Bromas' grill with Reaper, able to win that with ease. You see Numlocked yet again nano boosted on your screen, but Raucus has that Mercy res, trying to stay away from Numlock, finally makes it across, gonna get hooked by Lynxer. Big kill there, as now obviously Raucus cannot revive his teammates, and this is gonna be one Dignitas gonna be able to get a hold.
Mercy was very, very close as Winston just tumbles into the pit. Not able to get away, but she was really close to getting the res up. Gonna have to wait for the next fight. FaZe, though, setting a very good time here thus far. They have about 4-5 attempts left at this, and we'll see what happens in the next fight. They don't have a whole lot of ult power going in, and Numlock can certainly drop down with an Earthshatter, but
I need your opinion real quick. Are you surprised they're sticking on Raucus with the Mercy and not switching over to an Ana?
It's somewhat surprising. I think part of the method in their madness, though, might be the fact that res might be the one way of really breaking the third point as they go forward, just to sort of revive people, make sure you always have 6. But here we go, next fight underway, or maybe not. Factor Fiction not quite able to leap up there.
Yeah, just trying to kite some players, put down some damage, maybe force the defenders back. You see a bigger shadow, though, gonna come down from Numlock. He's going to dash through, able to pick up 1, but Too Easy. He's going to dart through, able to pick up Lynxer and Bromas. So 2 high damage characters out of this fight for Dignitas, and there you hear the res coming in from Raucus, but the kill feed dominated by Dignitas. You see Toxican fully charged as Zarya, just gonna put down so much damage with the particle cannon. You see Numlock swinging away there at the bottom, looking for opponents. There goes Factor Fiction. He's gonna dart off the map. One that Dignitas is going to win, and you see Dignitas has some ultimates to work with in this next fight. They're gonna have the Deadeye, they're gonna have the Sound Barrier, and that Earth Shatter. It's gonna be one that you look at it, they have that ultimate advantage, should be able to hold on.
The big deal for them is the Sound Barrier. Now, FaZe will be able to get up towards the beginning of this next fight. They might not be able to open up with it. A lot is going to come down to Zoms here. Zoms is going to have to land a really good Graviton to offset the advantage that Dignitas has set up here. Too easy, of course, he's going to be moving to the back. He will have his Pulse Bomb up sooner rather than later. So for FaZe, their best chance here, Zarya into Tracer to set things up.
Yeah.
It'd be easier said than done, though, given the verticality on this map.
Yeah, Zarya and Tracer work so well together. You know, you're able to get that Graviton Surge and the Pulse Bomb. You see Bromas there setting up with the Deadeye. He's going to be able to pick up 2 big kills. Toxican with 1, Bromas with a 3rd, shutting down FaZe as they try and make their way up the street. Bromas still on a roll with McCree. There goes Too Easy. He wants no part in that. 40 seconds left. You see Raucus, we brought it up before, he switches over to Ana. And now Dignitas trying to get this hold here. 30 seconds left. FaZe, though, has the ultimate advantage. They need to make them worthwhile, though. They need to combo that Graviton Surge with that Pulse Bomb.
The thing about the ults right now, I think it's relatively easy. You take Toxican, they both have Graviton Sound Barrier. We do have the pickoff coming. Oh no! Shadowburn lives with 1 HP! Ends up taking Elixir instead. This is a big opportunity for FaZe. They're moving in. The Gravitons are out for both teams here, but the Death Blossom in the middle of it. 3 kills here from FaZe. They are going to roll forward and most likely get the second point. So FaZe staying alive at the last moment.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to be able to move the payload, going to break down the door, and they are going to have just a minute and 30 seconds to try and push through that castle. And this has been one where we've seen so many teams struggle, ZP, trying to get through. It's just those 2 narrow choke points. I mean, the castle door closes back up. You only have those 2 alleyways on each side. This is where, Mei can be extremely effective. You see Linkster's going to switch over to her, and Toxican's going to go with a Junkrat. So Junkrat we have not seen too much throughout the tournament, but a very good hero able to put down a ton of damage, spam the chokes.
All right, and Factor Fiction right now setting up for Earthshatter. One of the main hopes for FaZe here. They are still down to Mendez. Bromas picks up 2, just poking out the FaZe offense. Or FaZe coming right back and moving in. Drakeus and the rest of Dignitas, they have to back out just a little bit here. It's back and forth. The problem is when you're on the offense is that if you lose anyone, it's very difficult to keep momentum here just because of how the gate closes on you.
Yeah, and it's going to be Raucus with the Nano Boost for FaZe. You're going to have Too Easy switching over to a Junkrat, so you're going to see an offensive Junkrat. Don't see that too often. Here comes Toxican's Tire. He's going to use it to just stall out here on top of the payload. Now going to move up with it. Factor Fiction's able to take it out. Nice play there, and it looks like Toxican was actually going back into the spawn. Potentially could see a hero swap from him. He's going to switch over to Zarya here for this next fight. 16 seconds left, ZP, coming right down to the wire.
Everything in here for FaZe, but here comes Unlock. Nano boosted in. Gonna be looking for the Earthshatter. Just moving forward. Swing his hammer. Too easy. Gonna take it to the dome. But here comes Zoms. The counter Graviton is out. It is 2 kills here for FaZe. They cannot lose this fight or the payload will stop right here. Factor Fiction Zoms, the tank play of FaZe, is keeping it together as FaZe picks up the double.
Yeah, and it's going to be Factor Fiction picking up a 3rd. And now we're into overtime. FaZe trying to make something happen here. Shadowburn on that Genji. He's been so effective with it all tournament long. Going to be very close. That Dragon Blade could spell disaster for the side of Dignitas. Dignitas needs to get on the payload. They're able to contest. You see players just flying in. It's going to be the Dragon Blade busted out from Shadowburn. He's able to get 3. He's searching for more. Trying to cut down players. Trying to just stay alive. Has Too Easy there with him. And it's going to be Numlocked on top of the payload for Dignitas. He's going to drop Linkser as well. FaZe completes the map.
And that is the power of one of the best Genjis in the game on a final point. You can get better cleanup than most heroes, and that is the challenge in actually capping out Eichenwald at the very end. So
look at the Luminosity guys hanging out in the studio.
They're just catching it up.
Enjoying some games. Yeah, they're catching up on some rest. And Luminosity versus Misfits will be coming up right after that. That'll be a fantastic match as well.
But more to the point, it's the Shadowburn able to clean that up towards the very end. And it's difficult to do, but Genji, if you have a good Genji, you can do that in that final map. And that's one of the challenges for actually bringing the payload to the end.
Yeah, I know his Genji is so effective. Like, I almost question, it's like, why kind of conform to like the meta which everybody else is doing when you have a player that's so explosive and so disruptive on one hero? It's like, why not just keep going to it?
Well, that's one of the things that got brought up yesterday on the desk and talking about Shadowburn, where, yes, he can play one of the best Reapers around, but the skill cap for Genji seems to be a little bit higher, the ability to make the huge plays just a little bit more, and it feels like, in most cases, even if you'd rather run a Reaper versus certain things, Shadowburn can get more done on a Genji. But we are getting in here to the second round, and it is going to be FaZe's turn to show us what they have on the defense, and this is pretty good for them here.
And that checkpoint there will be where Dignitas needs to get to if they're going to force time bank system, right? I mean, FaZe has no time left, but if Dignitas is able to get there with some time left, they'll be able to go yet again. Now Dignitas on the offensive side of things. FaZe on the defense will actually go with Shadowburn on Pharah, and Raucus will be running that Mercy again. So the Pharah-Mercy combination coming out from FaZe again. Too Easy will be running that McCree, so he's going to be doing a lot of the long-range DPS, trying to put down a lot of shots at distance. We've seen a lot of McCree players do a very nice job, and I think, obviously we go on with the DPS. It's really, flashy. They're putting down all the kills, but I know one of the things I saw Fnatic do that was really good is, IDQD was able to stay in the back and really just be untouched on his McCree. And as soon as they put the pressure on him, he fell. It really kind of fell apart for Fnatic. Let's see if things go the same way for FaZe. On the side of Dignitas, they'll be going with Pharah as well. So it's good to see Pharah make a little bit of comeback. No mercy on the side of Dig, though.
All right, we're going to keep it on Too Easy here as he tries to deal Toxic, and that is his main threat. Toxic, though, right now, laying in the damage, and Dignitas really not wasting any time. They're going right in on the point. Both teams trying out poke, and for now, Toxic has been untouched. No one has shot at him just yet, but Shadowburn right from the top just dunks right on him, takes him out. But the offense is doing well. They have 2 kills to their name here. The respawns are going to be coming in soon, and this isn't the greatest for FaZe, even if they do clean this out. Yeah,
and you see Shadowburn putting down some nice shots there, taking out Artera, taking out Bromos as well. It's going to be a hold for FaZe. And now the attack going to just kind of stall out here. They're going to get back together to figure out another attack strategy. So Dignitas, they have no ultimate abilities to work with right now. Neither does the side of FaZe. And, Zombs getting close at Graviton Surge. You could see that one come in a combination with Shadowburn's ultimate on Pharah.
Well, the interesting thing here, Dignitas decided to stand back and really wait a little bit longer. It gave FaZe a chance to reinforce. We're back to a full 6v6 right now as we see Dignitas running back in once more, but Too Easy immediately taking out Dracaeus. There's not going to be the nano boost early on. It's a big 65 advantage for FaZe, and Shadowburn drops the barrage, takes out 2 to finish things out, and FaZe gonna hold once more.
Yeah, and I mean, as soon as you see both healers drop for the side of Dignitas, you know that fight is almost over, and Dracaeus drops early with that nano boost, and they're not able to use it in that fight, but might be a little bit of a blessing in disguise, right? I know Shadowburn uses his ultimate to win that one for FaZe, and now look at Dignitas. They're pretty much stacked up with ultimates. They got Linkser on Genji with that blade. You also have the nano boost combination you could give him. Could be pretty deadly.
It is absolutely going to be deadly. R2 is going to open up here with the Sound Bear, and it's going to set Linkser. He's going to roll right in. The Dragon Blade is unsheathed, and he is moving in on it. Meanwhile, Graviton, Earthshatter, both going down. Not much coming out of that Dragon Blade to start things out, and it's Too Easy. Picking up Numlocked and Arc here. Going for the McCree cleanup. Has the triple kill. This is a different Too Easy here today.
Oh, and as soon as the Dragon Blade comes in with the nano boost, it was a fantastic play by Factor Fiction, able to knock him down with the Earthshatter, then pin him up against the wall, get him out of the fight. His teammates able to win those other engagements fairly easily. And now Dignitas in trouble, a minute and 30 seconds to go. You're gonna have Bromos, he's gonna be close to that Deadeye, but Raucus has that res on Mercy. It is so powerful, when you let your teammates fight, put down a ton of damage, and then you come out of nowhere, bring them right back, give them a second chance. So devastating to deal with.
The key to us fight too, that was the best opportunity for Dignitas. They threw all their ultimates into it, got nothing. FaZe still has the resurrection up here. They need to take out Raucus first, or even if they have a great engagement here, it's not gonna work out well, but here comes Bromos, moving in, landing the headshot on the Zarya. Zarya just going to get out of there in a hurry. It's the rest of Dignitas getting on top of the point. Factor Fiction going to fall, but Too Easy getting Linkser early in the fight. That's a huge pick. It's 2 kills here for Too Easy once more, and Raucus is going to drop the res, bring the Fallen, and Dignitas might have to fall back.
And I mean, Bromos just has so much action going on his screen, trying to decide whether he puts emphasis on the point. Knows Too Easy is coming underneath him. You see Numlock trying to make something happen for Dignitas, using the Earthshatter, gonna pin Mercy all the way against the wall, gonna go for a ride. Too Easy's able to take him out. Numlock, though, takes Too Easy out with him. So now you look, 30 seconds to go. What kind of combinations would you like to see here from Dignitas in the final seconds?
What they have to go for is the Graviton and the Dragon Blade. This is their final chance. They will get no others. This must be successful or they will lose this map. Dignitas gonna roll in. Let's see if Toxic is gonna be able to land that Graviton. He's gonna be looking for it. Will Linkser have the fall through?
Yeah, now it would look like Lynx are trying to come on a bit of a flank there, and you see Dignitas putting a ton of pressure on, and that kill feed is all blue. Shadowburn, though, answers with 3. Audio able to take out 1. Too easy now. The last one alive for FaZe. Needs to try and contest this point. Try and stay in the game, and you see Too Easy doing a nice job just kind of blinking in and out, trying to stall us out for the longest possible. He's going to get taken out by Lynxer, and now you see the Earthshatter come in, not able to get anybody with it. Dragon Blade going to come out for Lynxer, trying to just swing for the fences. Factor Fiction with 2 big kills there for FaZe as they're trying to mount a comeback here in the last seconds.
I think that sells it, though. Hammer beats Sword. Still, Numlock swinging on the point. Gonna get nano boosted, making that all the more deadly. Just ends up taking out Rockets with a hammer to the back of the head. It is Dignitas flooding onto the point. The respawns get there sooner, and they will get the payload moving. But what a defense by FaZe, and I can't say it enough. Usually when you look at FaZe, sometimes you say that the hero is Shadowburn. Right now, the hero has been Too Easy. He's been playing great today. Switches back to the McCree because he's just been doing better on McCree.
Yeah, and I know Raucus goes Soldier there at the end, just trying to get towards that payload. You know, obviously, Soldier, a pretty fast hero, can lay down a ton of damage. He's going to switch back to a support role, so he's going to go over to Ana here. So FaZe will have nano boost to work with in some of these fights. You see Shadowburn going over to Genji. I'm interested to see how Dignitas, adjust when they see that Genji come out from the side of FaZe.
Yeah, the Genji coming out on the side of FaZe, it'll be interesting. Shadowburn, you don't see Genji quite as much on the defense, but Shadowburn's one of the few people that make a really strong defensive Genji. But here we go, Soundbear out from FaZe. They're using that to roll right into Dignitas. 2 quick kills moving in, and Dignitas in hot retreat right now. Shadowburn, though, goes a little bit too aggro. That is one of the downsides to his playstyle. Lynxer takes him out, and this is going to give Dignitas a moment to do a 6v5 as they respawn and roll in.
Yeah, he just tries to put so much pressure on the opponents. Sometimes obviously you dive in a little bit too deep there. And he does have Dragon Blade for this next fight, though, and you see it's going to be Zombs using that Graviton Surge for the side of FaZe. It's going to be Numlock picking up 1. You see Lynxer just trying to locate Shadowburn on his screen. See just Genji so fast. Shadowburn's able to take him out with the Dragon Blade. Shadowburn gets right back over by the payload, able to get nobody else with the blade. Trying to stay alive, though. Toxican, you see as Zarya fully charged up. He's going to go on the hunt.
Shadowburn still up and around, gonna run right into Numlock's hammer. Numlock with the good position, gonna keep things moving for Dignitas, and even though this is the last minute scramble here for Dignitas, they still have a hope of bringing this to the end. FaZe has definitely been having some issues in the last minute or two, but they will have a chance to go in here. And Factor Fiction, he actually could just knock people off the bridge here. This is dangerous as Bromas goes for the Deadeye.
He sets up. He's actually going to be flashbanged by Too Easy and taken out. Big kill there from Too Easy. That Deadeye could have been disastrous for FaZe Clan. You see the primal rage of Winston from Fact Fiction going to come in, just cause disruption on the offensive push. And now it's going to be the nano boost coming in. Factor Fiction just putting an excellent amount of damage here on the opponents, trying to push all the way through. Just kite players with tons of damage, force them back. There's only 11 seconds left here.
This is working out really well for FaZe. Their defense is still well positioned right now. Hammer down from Numlock. The last cast coming out. It's not going to be enough. The Graviton sets up Too Easy for 2 kills. 4 kills to fish things up for FaZe. And Lynxer, will he be the hero? The Dragon Blade versus the world. Gets 1 kill, but dies to the Zarya bomb. And that is going to be it. Ladies and gentlemen, FaZe has taken map number 1.
Now, it's interesting because, FaZe was so good yesterday on the control points, and, they struggled on the payloads, and they come out there, and I feel like it's just because they kind of stuck more to what they're better at. You saw the Genji come out more often. You saw Too Easy. He was able to, run some Tracer, run some McCree. I feel like, they didn't conform to the, standard meta, and, maybe, like, somebody run a Mei where they're not really accustomed to it or it's not their strength. I feel like they did a good job sticking to their guns.
I feel like the biggest difference, say more so than anything else, and I know we mentioned it during the cast, but Too Easy has showed up in a much different way. And for those who don't know the history of Too Easy is a player that is very streaky. Think to traditional sports where you look at, say,
Jay
MLB,
Cutler,
and you have someone who's goes in and hits every hit at bat. Well, that's Too Easy. But he also has days where he doesn't hit anything. And for now, it seems like this is one of his good days.
Yeah, it's a little bit like Jay Cutler if you follow the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Some days he looks like John Elway, and some days he just looks absolutely awful. You take a look at some of the highlights. Shadowburn there, a nice rocket barrage. They will put down a ton of damage, and I love seeing Pharah in the meta, right? And I think that kind of comes in when you see so many tanks. It's like they're not just able to do damage up there or in the sky.
Well, the big thing for Fair, too, though it wasn't the case in these games, a lot of times teams have been going with compositions that aren't running, say, a McCree or a Soldier or a Widow. Definitely not a nano-boosted Widow either. So.
Dude, wait till you see that first FaZe montage with the nano-boosted Widow. It's going to become the standard of, like, 13-year-olds in competitive games.
So the thing for Fair is that you just don't have the anti-air options to deal with her sometimes, and it works out because even if they are running the McCree, what you can do is that you can target the McCree, take him out first, and then guess what? There's no one left to actually deal with you. So Fair definitely has options.
And you know who else we saw come into the game a little bit? We saw Junkrat on that last point. We saw it on the offensive and defensive ends. Junkrat's actually one of my favorite heroes to play at home because honestly, you go into competitive games and you have a few friends and the other team's just not coordinated enough. Junkrat just proves a ton of damage at the gate. Very difficult to get by.
The key with Junkrat is that anytime a team wants to go through a really self-contained area where it's a small corridor, Junkrat can throw in his junk launcher bombs right into that, and it's very, very difficult to avoid. It works out even better when you have the Mei because you're funneling people into these small areas that the Junkrat can really take advantage of. And even though he's a more situational hero right now, he can be real deadly in the right situation.
Oh, and there have been times where I'm playing at home and you get like Temple of Anubis and the other team's running a Junkrat and your teammates don't join the voice comms and you're just, I've almost broken a few of my mice just by going up against a really good Junkrat. It's so frustrating. I mean, you step over a trap, you blow up, then you come back again, then you're just spamming the choke with nades. And he's actually really effective against like a hero like McCree, right? Who can put down a ton of damage but needs to like poke out around those corners a little bit slower. He can just spam those chokes.
I wouldn't say he's a direct one-to-one against McCree. I think it's more cases where anyone that has to go through an area quickly without looking at it, for example, Tracer. It's not that he's a direct counter the Tracer, but if the Tracer is just worrying about other threats, right? Where she has to go through a small corridor or something, hits a trap because she's not looking. That's brutal because it's a free pickoff. It delays the other team. And Junkrat's really good at just messing up any sort of strategy that wants to get through an area quickly.
He just causes so much commotion, so much chaos, and just a ton of damage he's able to lay down. You see FaZe here. For some reason, they don't feel comfortable doing their team talks out here. They did this yesterday. They like escaped into a random hallway we have here at the Turner Studios. Now they go back to their room. Now they're going to walk all the way back. I feel like they're exerting a ton of energy just moving around the venue. And here you go. See them coming right back. So the game will be started up soon as they get back in here. But they looked very good on that first map.
The key for them is that they can't escape the cameras.
No, you can't.
Here at the studio, we're just like, okay, you guys want to go away from that? That's fine. But this camera guy is coming with you.
Yeah, no, and they're going to follow you all the way back too. And you see, one player is going to go for a bathroom break, but too easy. Very good in that first map on McCree, and we've seen the things that he's done with Tracer as well. I've been really impressed with him and Shadowburn. They've just two very powerful DPS combination.
And when FaZe has done well, it's come from both of them doing well at the same time. The Bash brothers of FaZe, if you will. It's just the problem with FaZe is that you never know what FaZe is going to show up because some days they come out really strong. Some days they're just nowhere near the same team. But the scary thing if you're a Dignitas fan right now is that it does appear like FaZe is operating on all cylinders right now. So if they want to bring this back, it's certainly going to be a bit rough because remember, they only have, this is a best out of 3. If they lose another map, that's it.
Yeah.
They're going
home. Oh, no, yeah, this is do or die for Dignitas. But what do you think makes FaZe a team that just kind of sometimes they're just not all there and they don't show up?
I mean, honestly, I think part of it is just too easy being that variable of a player, and that's been the whole time. And look at this tweet here. Named Hui, if I pronounce that correctly, one of the best Korean casters. He's casted so many things, saying OW Open with chicken. This is so
You're going to give yourself a tummy ache, dude, with the soda, and it looks like a little bit of potatoes there, maybe like a fork or chopsticks. I can't really tell, but the chicken does look good. And Malik took us the other day and to this Augustus fried chicken here. It was amazing. I want to go back so desperately, or if somebody wants to come bring me some, I'm more than happy with that. And actually, I'm like the worst son ever. It was my mom's birthday yesterday. I forgot to shout her out on stream, so shout out to my mom. Probably should be working right now. Probably has to stream up in a second tab. And the best part about it is like my mom watches everything, but like she doesn't understand anything really. So shout out to you, Mom. Happy belated birthday. I know it's probably a little bit depressing. I didn't get it out yesterday. But the next map will be Route 66. So does that favor one team or another in your opinion?
Route 66. It's hard to say if it favors anyone. I will say, I think the reason why Dignitas is playing it, though, is that they have a lot of faith in Linksers May play. And there's a lot of areas on Route 66 where you just have to go through a tight choke point. Or if you're trying to go on alternate paths, you can really get your game plan messed up a bit by an ice wall. So I feel like that's a little bit of their method in the madness. And also, shout outs to Mr. X's mom.
Yeah, no, she's awesome. You know, she's at work. She's probably watching. She doesn't really understand. Like, she knows this is like a different game than what I normally do. So it's like a big adjustment for her, right? Like a lot of different colors, a lot of different things going on. Hopefully, we're able to explain to her, make it easier. You see 2EZ setting up here. They will be able to get into this game right away. I'm excited to see, you know, which team starts out on the defensive side of things, what their composition's going to be. Now, usually we see a lot of teams set up at that gas station, big Earls. I feel like that's like probably the best spot to set up. You know, you get a Reinhardt up there, get his shield, you're able to pop some shots down behind lines.
You'll see defense go there because it just creates problems for the offense where they have to find a way of going in on it. It sort of forces them more into dive tanks where you'll see them throwing a Winston on top just to disrupt it. But it's a little bit different than if, say, they were holding on the ground floor. So that's where defense is like going. And we have seen really good defensive holds on First Point Route 66 in the past. It's one of the few maps where you can do that. Now, even though the game right now is a little bit more biased towards the offense and getting through first points, it doesn't mean that you can't see that happen.
Yeah, we've seen some sneaky stuff from the defense as well, right? You know, sneaking up into those tanks over by the offensive spawn, able to get some early picks and then fall back towards that gas station. But I know one thing you did mention from the offensive side of things, you know, when they do sit up on top of that big Earl's gas stations, they have to go towards dive heroes, you know, to get out there and cause pressure. So what kind of composition would you like to see, you know, to cause that action, get those players off on top of the gas station?
So usually nowadays you'll see teams go with things like Winston Reinhardt, but we have even seen cases where teams will break out, say a Winston Diva, just go super dive in the back with a Genji and a Tracer. We've seen really cool comps that can try and just unsell the other team immediately. I think you see that a little bit less now just because of May's ability to disrupt things with Ice Wall, but we'll have to see what happens.
Route 66 loading up now. Such a beautiful map. It looks like Utah. I just drove across the country. Utah was just a big rock that looked a lot like Route 66. Excited to see what happens here. Dignitas' tournament lives on the line. FaZe with a chance to move on into the tournament. They would go up against Rogue if they win this. Be a big matchup, and Dignitas going to start on the defensive side of things. So that's the gas station we were talking about, right? Usually you see a Reinhardt up there, uses his shield. You'd have somebody like a McCree putting down tons of shots, and they do have that combination. So that should be what you see from the defensive side of things. On offense, ZP nailed it right on the head. They're going to have that dive combination. You see they have the Winston, they have Shadowburn on the Genji. Going to be really aggressive, try and force them off that high ground.
The interesting thing about defense is that they're going for more damage. They put Linkser on the Reaper. They're not going for the control of a Maze. So interesting approach here coming out from Dignitas as they just stay on top here on the defense. They're going to make FaZe come to them. But let me tell you, with how aggressive Shadowburn is, that's not going to be a problem. He's going to wait for Factor Fiction to leap in. He's leapt in, and he's going to go to the back line. Looking at supports, has Ana in his sights, Lucio in his sights. He will take either of them as he dives right in.
And it's just awesome to watch him go to work on Genji, right? You see he's like a little bit passive, trying to figure out the best path of attack, and it does not work out there. Gets flashbang, Linkser able to take him out. Linkser gets a second, and you see just nice DPS play here from Linkser and Bromos. It was Bromos able to connect that flashbang onto Shadowburn. It was easy for Reaper to just come in and clean him up. Gonna force the FaZe push back. And now we just take a look. Nobody close to ultimates yet. It's actually going to be Dressius actually coming up with that nano boost. So who'd you like to see nano boost on the side of Dignitas? Do you think it'll be Reaper? You think it'll be Reinhardt? Who do you think gets that nano boost?
Really, they've been throwing it more on Numlocked as of late, but they could definitely throw on Linkser. We've seen them do that as well. It really depends on the situation, but since Numlocked is down, I think it's going to go Linkser if they use it here in this fight. Robos in the back line, Deadeye coming up. One of the better counters to Primal Rage. Does all sorts of damage to Winston. He no longer has a big health pool. And Bromos just casually going in here over the top. Winston's not going to be able to go back in on him, and Dignitas in a really good position to hold this.
Yeah, and it's going to be Bromos coming through with that fan the hammer. It is so effective with McCree, close range, combo with the flashbang, able to take out targets with ease, and it's going to be Linkser and Bromos picking up some kills here. Numlock going to come back into the fight. Now it's going to be Linkser, though, with that ultimate coming off the spawn. They saved that nano boost during that fight as well, so that's a big one. You know, they did not use that ability, so they still have that to continue this defensive hold.
This is going to be a big break point in the match coming up. Both teams loaded with ultimates. It will be an ultimate showdown. We're both breaking it down, and the fight is underway. Graviton going to be coming out soon as Linkser rolls to the back. Shadowburn is down. Both Gravitons are out. Everyone feeling the group hug treatment, and Linkser going on top of the payload has Death Blossom at the ready. As we switch to Bromos in over the top, Winston in his face. not getting what he wants as he gets punched right out, and FaZe going to turn this fight in their favor.
Yeah, and it's a very good push there from FaZe Clan. They're able to just burn right through. I mean, we talked about how many ultimates that Dignitas had. You see at the top of your screen, they have none left. FaZe able to just push right through all of them. It was really, Forsaken with that Transcendence, able to keep his teammates alive. And now FaZe, they have that Dragon Blade to work with on Shadowburn. They have Factor Fiction, can cause a lot of commotion with the Primal Rage. Now they're looking to move this payload with a quickness forward.
All right, and Shadowburn, the Dragon Blade, definitely one to watch. He's known for getting all sorts of damage done without the Dragon Blade, but you throw that sword in his hand, and it is absolutely deadly. He's going to be looking to charge in here in a moment. There he is, goes right in, opens onto the flank. Here comes Factor Fiction. The Dragon Blade is out. Shadowburn, though, not near the people he's looking for right away. Will get pick up. Linkser as too easy, goes to work in the back.
Yeah, and you see Shadowburn's actually going to get flashed, able to make an incredible kill there on the Bromos, and now going to dive forward, going to be able to take out RDR as well. Nice play there from Shadowburn. And what makes him such a devastating Genji? Like, we've seen a lot of great Genji play over the weekend, but he just seems to be like leaps and bounds ahead of everyone.
One of the main things for Shadowburn, not only is he very accurate with the shurikens, but he utilizes the dash reset very effectively. What does that mean? When he gets a kill, he's able to immediately dash again. And as a Graviton, Shadowburn dashes right in, but immediately dies, overextending a little bit as the counter Graviton coming in. Factor Fiction, too easy, all stuck inside, as Dignitas gonna stabilize off of that ultimate exchange.
Yeah, right there, as soon as Shadowburn dies first, you see everything start to fall apart for FaZe, and it's gonna be Dignitas taking that high ground, gonna try and get a good defensive setup here, gonna be able to hide behind Reinhardt's shield, knock down these shots. It's going to be a lot on Bromos. He's going to be able to just have that cover from Reinhardt. And take your time, knock down those shots, buddy. And you see, he just weakens Forsaken so much, going to force the enemy Xenia to fall back a little bit. But here comes the pressure from FaZe Clan. See Bromos just searching for the opponents, putting down those fan the hammer shots, trying to break that shield of Reinhardt on the opposing team. And you hear the nano boost come in, though, for the side of Dignitas. It's going to be Linkser now with that Death Blossom on Reaper. Look for that to be a big part of this fight.
Artier died pretty early in that fight, which meant that he was not able to actually drop the Sound Baron. While this is going on, FaZe just put people to the back
ran right by
on the payload while Shadowburn is cleaning up the scrap. So good prioritization there from FaZe. They didn't keep everyone in the fight. Shadowburn says, look, I got this. And they got a little bit more payload pushing in earlier.
That's actually hilarious.
They got 2 minutes and 15 seconds here.
Yeah, I mean, there are like 2 or 3 players from Dignitas like still fighting over by the gas station here to your right. And the 2 supports for FaZe just sneak all the way around, get on the payload, and they keep it moving forward. And now you see how FaZe going to have that Dragon Blade ready. Dignitas, though, they are starting to get loaded up with some ultimates. And what is the key to hold it here on this last point?
Well, Linkser coming in over the top of the Death Bombs is going to be one way as he rolls right in. Linkser to the back, doesn't quite get what he's looking for, but Bromos on the distraction picks off 2. That's going to be enough for Dignitas to hold here for a while.
Yeah, now Bromos can have that Deadeye. We've seen Deadeye, make a few big plays. You don't see, the 3-4 Ks with it. You usually be able to pick up 1 kill. But Numlocked with that Earthshatter, I really look for him to kind of disrupt the push of FaZe. Earthshatter is such a good ultimate when the other teams, stacking some ultimates, using some of those powerful combos to just stun the opposing team.
Speaking of combos, Shadowburn going to be looking to come in with the Dragon Blade here in just a moment. Might be set up by the Earthshatter. Deadeye coming in from the back from Bromos, just zoning back a little bit and takes out Tom. So with FaZe down at 3 people now, they're going to have to back out once more. Luckily for them, they didn't burn too much ult-wise there. They used the Deadeye, but it charges pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I feel with the Deadeye, you just can't be too picky with it. You can't wait to try to line up 2-3 targets. It's right there. You have the opportunity to take out the enemy team. Zarya is such a very powerful tank that he takes that shot, knocks her down. Now with 50 seconds left, you see FaZe on the attack. What can they combo here to make this work for them, ZP?
Really, they're just going to have to Shadowburn, gets that back line and goes for Dragon Blade. He's doing that right now. Shadowburn looking to do some work. Too easy, winning the fight against Bromos. So 65 for FaZe. Transcendence keeping them alive in that Graviton as they move forward. So FaZe in a good position. That's now 5v4, and they should be able to get the payload moving. But this is a little bit dangerous for them here. They don't want to overextend and run into a 4v6.
Yeah, now Zom's pushing forward with that Graviton Surge. Going to be able to put down a ton of damage on Tox again. Just trying to support the Genji. It's going to be too easy, though. Picking up 3 kills. He's going to have his Deadeye now as well. We'll see what FaZe can do here in this narrow area. It's so difficult because the defense spawns so close. They're able to just keep forcing these engagements. See Fact Fiction just to get back to the fight. Switches over to D.Va. The Graviton Surge comes in favor of FaZe. Just trying to put down a ton of damage on Numlocked as he's stuck inside, trying to clear out the enemy Reinhardt. It's going to be Factor Fiction coming through, picking up 1. It's going to be the Dragon Blade out for Shadowburn. He's not able to get anything with it. Bromos switches over to Tracer at the end. It is not enough. FaZe completes the map. No time left for them, though, but a very good last push.
Very similar to what we saw on Ike Involved, really, where FaZe need quite a bit of time to get to the end, but they were able to finish it out. The one scary thing here for Dignitas, though, is that FaZe does have the tendency to put up good defenses, and if Too Easy is able to play the defensive McCree that we saw back on Ike Involved, here on Route 66, I think things are going to be rough for them. And for Dignitas, their tournament life now on the line. For them to win this map, they not only have to push the payload to the end, but they have to do more pushing after that. So it's rough for them. It's a tough road, but it's a road they must travel if they want to stay alive.
Yeah, and something you were talking about in the pregame that we actually didn't see was any Mei usage. Were you surprised on there? Would you thought that Mei could have been effective there?
I was a little bit surprised because Mei has been used quite a bit on Route 66. So for those who see, that is the yellow square that Dignitas must push the payload to on their attack. It is a long way over. We're going to be seeing FaZe on the defense on their rollout here in just a moment.
Yeah, no, it looks like FaZe on the defensive side of things, they will have Too Easy on the McCree, and you will have Shadowburn sticking to the Genji. And personally, I like that. He's been so devastating all weekend long with the Genji. I don't think there's any reason to switch off of it. And you see Forsaken, he's going to stick on Zenyatta, and obviously, you know, Zenyatta and Genji work really well in a tandem. You're able to keep that harmony on. Orb on Genji, you know, when he dives in, if you keep that line of sight, able to keep the healing, and then Discord Orb is just a nightmare for the opposing team.
Well, you touch on a good point there, too, and that's part of the why you don't see FaZe running the Ana. A lot of teams run Ana, defense, offense, doesn't matter the situation, but Harmony Orb is a very good combination with a Genji, and they want to maximize Shadowburn's ability to play that hero, so that's why you're seeing that as FaZe gets on top of the diner and sets things up.
It's going to be Dignitas needing to push the cart all the way to the end, hopefully with a little bit of time remaining so they can try and force that third map, which would be Hollywood, but their tournament lives are on the line. See FaZe set up here on top of the gas station. It's the same defensive setup we saw from Dignitas, and let's see how Dignitas goes to approach this, because they do not have that dive combination that FaZe had. You know, all they have to really get up and put pressure on top of the gas station right now is that Winston.
And the problem for Winston here is that he will be eating Discord Orb as he goes up, a little bit squishier than usual. And Tumlock right now, not even going for the dive, just focusing on the payload, getting some good cleaving in with his primary fire. And for now, Dignitas are really payload focused. They're not trying to bring it to FaZe, they're making FaZe bring it to them, and it's an interesting approach.
Yeah, no, just FaZe is having no part of it, right? I mean, they are just holding down that top of the gas station, but here looks like the engagements are starting to come in. Numlock searching for opponents. He's going to be able to help out, just take out that Zarya, and now just trying to push up, just cause all types of commotion. They're trying to really focus down Shadowburn, and they're able to take him out. Lynx are going to finish him off just as Shadowburn gets that Dragon Blade, but you see this looks like a very good first push here from Dignitas.
This has been the most casual Winston play of all time. The sense that Numlock's just moving back and forth, throwing out the primary fire, doing all sorts of damage. No one actually caring to shoot him and all that. That is the most stress-free Winston approach I've seen. And Dignitas saying a really good time here as they roll to the first point.
I mean, that Winston really had like almost full HP the entire fight. I mean, nobody really focused him down at all. He was able to put down a ton of damage. Lynx are cleaning up opponents. And now Dignitas has a lot of time to get this second checkpoint ZP. 4 minutes to be exact. And FaZe, they're going to take control of that high ground. Too Easy does have that Deadeye to work with, so see if he can force some players out. Zone some players out with it. Maybe he picks up some kills, but look at how sneaky Lynxer is being.
Lynxer is being sneaky, wants to go over. FaZe has a lot of ultimates up though, so there's no guarantee this is going to work, but here comes Lynxer moving in, going to be zoned right back, and Shadowburn on the way, picking up an immediate double kill. They just roll to the back while Lynxer is sort of thinking, where's my team?
He was very dead. There was nothing that he could do. I mean, it looked like he was trying to run away and then just like stopped and was like, well, it'd be better if I died and just spawn up, because there's no way I see myself getting out of this situation. Dignitas, they have the ultimate advantage, and when I say they have the ultimate advantage, everybody has their ultimates on the side of Dignitas. You see Shadowburn's going to switch over to Reaper here, going to put away the Genji, but here comes the push, fast and furious for the side of Dig.
Ult advantage fully for Dignitas. Their bank is full. They're rolling right in, pushing back FaZe. I think FaZe knows it. That's why they're giving them a bit breather room here. They do open the transcends from Romas on the Shadowburn, takes him out immediately. In the back line, Too Easy, win McCree versus McCree battle. FaZe not out of this just yet, but Too Easy, too low, has to back out. Too much poke damage being done. And Dignitas cashing in on their ults to move this payload forward.
And now you see Numlock able to take out 2 here to just end the rest of that fight. A payload, going to keep moving forward in favor of Dignitas. Bromas has that Deadeye. And when the FaZe Clan team tries to come out and maybe push this for one last time, Bromas will be able to use that Deadeye, keep those players in their tracks, and they'll be able to get that checkpoint. Now you see it's going to be Shadowburn now switching over to Mei, so a lot of changes for him, right? I mean, he starts off on Genji, then Reaper for a little bit, now going over to Mei.
Linkser right now just looking to dash right in the face as they come out. You gotta think he's thinking about might be dropping down right now, just laying in the shotgun blast to Zarya, will take her out. And Dignitas, this is pretty good right now. It's pretty casual, they're moving forward. Linkser picking up another kill. Too easy looking to come in over the top to try and turn this back, and he does with the aid of Factor Fiction. So FaZe not out of this for this point just yet, as Factor Fiction just able to swing the hammer, clear things out, and Dignitas perhaps not respecting FaZe as they came in over the top.
Yeah, and I thought Toxic's bubble there on Linkser was going to be able to keep him alive in that fight versus Mei. It just was not enough. You see some nice wall running there from Lucio Ardier, just showing, I know Lucio, it's like one of, I feel like we don't really catch that much, like just the wall running mechanics of Lucio. It's very difficult to do, but you see FaZe setting up on the bridge. They're going to have the nano boost Blizzard to work with, and you see the Graviton though, it's going to come in. See Reinhardt diving in, the nano boost going to come in as well. Factor Fiction doing a ton of damage with the hammer. Numlocked goes for a ride off the side, and it is going to be a team kill in favor of FaZe.
They got the gravity and the weather report there, and that was not something they were a fan of. Dignitas, they will have 3 ultimates up here. Soon they have a sound bear as well, so they are building up their ult bank. They only have a minute left though, so really they're gonna have to spend what they have now and hope they get the rest later, because this is effectively their last major good attempt. FaZe only with the Earth Shadow, so Factor Fiction might have a hero moment here, but it's gonna be rough as Dignitas rolls right in.
Yeah, now Dignitas is gonna try a different approach here. You know, they've been trying to get this high ground. Now it seems like they're trying to go a little bit lower on the flank. You see a nano boosted Zarya there for a second. It's going to be Linkser coming in with that Death Blossom, only able to connect with one. He's going to get Earth Shattered, and quickly though, it's going to be Factor Fiction able to deal with him, and he's going to just be pushed back though by the enemy Winston. Numlock just doing a ton of damage, a ton of just chaos now with that Primal Rage. It's going to be Shadowburn as Mei trying to stall this fight out, but it does not look good. Tons of players surrounding him for Dignitas. 15 seconds left. Looks like they should be able to move the cart.
Dignitas is actually very lucky there. I don't believe they actually meant to nano boost Zarya. I think they were looking for Linkser, and the targeting just went to the other hero. So they won that fight regardless of the mess up, but here comes FaZe once more, looking to delay. Too easy moving this Tracer, and they're not able to stand the payload. Dignitas buys himself a little bit more time. A minute 25 left to bring this payload to the end if they want to stay alive. Every fight right now, super, super important for both teams.
Yeah, now Numlocked and Factor Fiction both going to switch off of their Winstons over to Reinhardt. Now, why is Reinhardt such an effective hero on this last push?
Reinhardt in general is effective payload just because of stopping poke damage, being able to land a big Earth Shatter. And right now you look at Numlocked, he's saving his team from all sorts of damage, able to be the shield for his team. And here we go, Bromas right now on the side, looking for pickoffs, going to take out Shadowburn with the help of Linkser, but still 2 kills from FaZe. They're moving in. Zombs can drop a Graviton here at any moment as Zombs Too Easy still alive and trying to push us back.
Yeah, now Linkser just trying to make something happen, finally taken out by Forsaken. So FaZe Clan going to get a hold. They have that Graviton and Pulse Bomb combination. 35 seconds left. Dignitas needs to make this push happen if they want to stay in the tournament. They have the nano boost to work with. You think it goes on Numlocked?
Might go on Numlocked the way they're doing it here. Could go on Bromas, but very likely Numlocked. And here we go. Fight is underway right here. The Graviton out here from the defense, and the Pulse Bomb Too Easy takes out 2. A quick strike here from FaZe as they roll in the Dignitas once more. Linkser trying to turn it back, takes out Forsaken, has the double kill, and this is up to Linkser right now to be the hero and keep this alive for Dignitas.
Yeah, Linkser just trying the best he can. You see the Mei wall going to separate him from the payload. There's one player on the cart, though, that's actually for the side of Dignitas, and that is going to be Bromas trying to stay alive on that Tracer. You see the ton of damage, though, coming down from Winston on FaZe. Factor Fiction going to be nano boosted. He's going to be put to sleep, though. The Graviton comes in from the side of Dignitas, laying down tons of damage, but you see in the kill feed, it's going to be FaZe. Too Easy blows himself up with the Pulse Bomb. Not the way you want to use it, but it's going to be Shadowburn putting up the Mei wall at the final seconds, blocking off the opponents. FaZe Clan going to get the win.
Dignitas, that was the final push for them. They were throwing everything at it at the very end. Their tournament life was on the line. Unfortunately for them, FaZe able to clutch out the defense, and this is very reminiscent of how NA groups went down, where it's a new day, players take new strategies, they're a little bit more fresh, and FaZe able to turn things in their favor. They take out Dignitas and move on to the tournament.
Yeah, and a rematch of yesterday's match. And a lot of people, going into that one thought FaZe was the favorite. That I know Internet Hulk said he would have been surprised that if FaZe didn't take it in 2-0 or better. Dignitas able to win the first matchup. FaZe wins it when it matters. And you see Dignitas there. Turn your other shoulder. There you go. Start shaking hands. Good sportsmanship from everybody. But still, I know they have to be a little bit devastated, a little bit disappointed that they lose to a FaZe Clan team that they defeated yesterday.
And we actually saw this in the qualifiers too at points where teams would, I think the most poignant example would be Selfless versus Splyce. But either way, big effort coming out here for FaZe. They move on, and we'll see if they can do more later in the tournament.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Overwatch Open. We just saw FaZe versus Dignitas, and full credit to Huck here for calling it. Points off all the way down the line for Goldenboy for throwing not only his console history under the bus, the FaZe brand, but he traded it all in for an 0-2 on Dig.
Right now, everyone in the chat is saying console lol. Right? So you did that to me. Thank you, Rachel.
Oh, sure.
I thought we were friends. Clearly, we aren't. But you know what, though? Hey, FaZe is an incredible team, and they definitely deserved a victory.
Yep.
Absolutely. We have Malik up there with one of the players right now. Let's go to him for an interview.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Shadowburn, I finally got you up here, man. All right, so you guys were able to get your revenge. What was it, man? Was it the black jerseys?
Yeah, it's actually it was black jerseys for sure. I know we just watched what's from our last games, and we just realized we did a lot of mistakes there. So we switched our comp and our style of playing. That's it.
Okay, cool. I noticed that you guys didn't pick a control point map. I think a lot of people were expecting you to pick a King of the Hill map, and you guys completely flipped the script. Was that kind of a mind game you were playing with Dignitas?
It's like we are good on Olympus, but we skip like the other CP maps because we are not sure about it. So yeah.
Cool. And let's talk about Rockets, because I think, support characters, support players, they don't get the love they deserve. But Rockets, he kind of saved you guys in a couple of situations. There was one time where you got hooked by a Roadhog, had 1 HP left, and he healed you very quickly. How is it playing with him, and how important is he for your team?
So he's like leading in our game. He has like his main calling, and yeah, he did a lot of work there. He saved me like a couple of times there. Yeah.
Yeah, he had some clutch sound barriers he dropped. It was awesome watching him. And let's talk about one more thing. You switched to Mei at the end of that game. people know you for your Genji. They don't really know you for Mei. How long have you been practicing her?
Yeah, I was practicing like a lot of, last days, like on bootcamp. And I don't know, they just counter-picked me, so I just decided that it doesn't work. So I should have to go Mei. So that's why.
Cool, it looked good, man. Last question, you guys have Rogue coming up next. What's the game plan going in? You have any thoughts going into this match?
Yeah, it's going to be really hard. We had like 2 games last days, I think, against Rogue on Auguste Gamers Cups and like qualifiers for League. Yeah, it's going to be a really good game, I think.
All right, man. Well, arguably the world's best Genji moving on to the next round against Rogue, and we're going to send it back to the desk. Take it away, guys.
Thank you so much. You know, that's a little bit of insight into how these players feel like they really have to expand their hero pools. You know, they have the ones they're good at, and then as soon as the rest of the community learns they're good on that, well, time to change it up again. So what do we see first on Eichenwald? Do you want to break that down for us, Chris?
Sure. I mean, FaZe, their go-to strategy here is just aggression, aggression, aggression. You're going to see Shadowburn switch heroes very promptly at each phase, going between Pharah, Genji, and Reaper. And of course, we had that very, very special moment where he did have 1 HP. And this is the story of the whole match. He literally had 1 HP. He lives. He gets nano boosted, he picks up some souls as Reaper, and they actually extend OT and finish that second point. If it wasn't for that clutch moment within itself, Dignitas would have actually pushed it further.
Yeah, that was, you know, we all were looking at the back, and this moment right here, because Shadowburn just got jumped in there for the group hug and was basically just, you know, he was embracing everyone with his love of death. So it was awesome. It worked out very well for them. And then, of course, Shadowburn's Genji. We just cannot praise this young man. And I say young because he's 19 years old, performing on a big stage here in Atlanta, Georgia, going off. But you can't forget about Too Easy, who had another stellar game in Eichenwald as well.
On the other hand, Dignitas themselves, they did a great job. I want to say especially their tanks. We saw Linkstar on that Roadhog, Numlocked, your boy, on that Reinhardt, even coming from the top ropes. One time he had this flank where he earth-shadowed off the top tower. It was an insane play. Overall, I feel like they're doing a great job on their tank play, but their DPS, it's more hit and miss.
Yeah, I mean, we can deep dive into this, right? I think it was more prominent in map 2 than it was in this particular one, in Eichenwald. So, I mean, it's heartbreaking because I really like this Dignitas roster. I love seeing fantastic tank play, but as we move into Route 66, I think the story for all of us was we needed Bromas to show up, right? He was playing the McCree, he was handling a lot of the back line, and of course dealing a significant amount of damage, but I don't know, something just wasn't there, Chris.
Yeah, it's more of the fact that FaZe are so aggressive. We see them often going for that Winston, Genji, Tracer combo, and once they dive on someone, once they start getting on that backline, you gotta have the flashes. You gotta hit those flashes, and we did see Bromas miss a couple of flashes, and then on top of that, he's just missing shots. And now, of course, it's a team effort. It's hard. You're playing against maybe the best Genji in the world and a very top Tracer and Too Easy, but at the same time, they always gotta have in the back of their minds, who's the better DPS player? Because you have Artier, who's subbed down to support now, and it's like, you know, how good would he do on a McCree? And as a team, if you're always questioning that moment and you're not working on that flexibility, it's a heartbreaking thing.
Yeah, but I just want to say real quick though, I think for Bromas though, right, looking back, I'm sure like he is a player who wants to just continuously improve.
Yes.
So for him, he's just going to say, all right, what were some of the shortcomings that I had in those situations, and just continue to refine and grow his strong suit. I'm looking forward to seeing what this Dignitas roster does in the future.
Yeah, actually, I just wanted to say that, you know, these DPS, we usually think about them going head-to-head trying to take each other out. But I think the biggest problem that Bromas had was Ruckus. Ruckus had so many clutch boops, he would come forward trying to do his high noon and just get pushed right back over the edge, suddenly couldn't see anything. And that happened at least twice. So, again, great play all around by FaZe. Dignitas doing really, really well as well. But ultimately, FaZe taking it too.
FaZe goes up.
FaZe up.
FaZe up.
I set you up for that.
Thanks, buddy. You're so nice.
You guys are terrible.
But I just want to say, though, FaZe versus Rogue, oh my goodness. I cannot wait for that matchup because I think Rogue, they are playing some of the best Overwatch you could possibly ask from them right now, and FaZe has a chip on their shoulder, and they want to prove them wrong.
All right, well, before we get to the FaZe versus Rogue, which is going to be a best of 5, we have one more best of 3. It's between Misfits and Luminosity. One team's going home, and one team's going on to face NIP. We cannot wait for these matchups, guys. Please don't go anywhere, because when we come back, Misfits and Luminosity are fighting for that final spot.